¿Está bien?
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Classified Captures. Steve here, and today I've got a collection of clips ranging from cryptid sightings to glitches in our matrix that may just leave you shocked, yet craving more. Ready? Let's jump in then. Starting today's episode, I've got a clip Bigfoot enthusiasts will love. During a video project, a man deployed his drone to capture aerial footage above a dense forest area. As the drone hovered and scanned the landscape, it captured something rather unexpected and unusual, a massive ape-like creature. Looking at the clip, however, we know this can't just be any ape. I mean, look at its gait. It casually takes long strides with its massive arms swinging back and forth as it moves gracefully through the trees. This can't be any ape. In fact, many who saw it believed it had to be a Bigfoot. The creature seemed completely unaware of the drone filming it from above. If you were to ask me, the footage looks incredibly genuine. It has this authentic feel to it, unlike some of the staged videos we've seen in the past. Julius & Co., which is basically Julius and all who think like him, think this isn't genuine. Some stated it could be a gorilla, but Julius didn't think so. In fact, he states that there are no apes in the region where this was recorded. His hypothesis? It has to be a man in an ape suit or something along those lines. Aaron disagrees, and I'm tempted to go along with him on this one, but what do you guys also think? Next up, we've got a clip recorded by a homeowner who was cleaning out her property. It was a cleaning like every other until she stumbled upon an old horse saddle in the barn left behind by the previous owners. Wanting to get rid of it, she decided to burn the saddle, but if we are featuring it, something eerie happened. As the saddle burned, a white smoke emerged, moving gracefully in front of the fire. What made this smoke unusual was how it took on the shape of a horse galloping, and from the background, the unmistakable sound of hooves echoed through the air. The homeowner believes she may have freed the spirit of a horse long trapped in the saddle, as it appeared to move and gallop away. Before you come at me, I know how that sounds, but think about it. What if? Just what if? Before we move on to the next clip, I saw a comment under the original post that had me laughing. Take a look. Tell me you get the reference. A woman was out on a walk with her dog one morning when she noticed something strange in the forest. It was a peculiar-looking tree, and as she got closer, she realized that part of the trunk had grown in a way that made it look like a face. It wasn't just any face, however. It had a menacing, eerie expression that immediately sent a chill down her spine. Interestingly, she wasn't the only one who sensed something was off. Her dog, usually playful and active, stopped dead in its tracks, staring intently at the face carved into the tree. It was as if the dog, too, felt the unsettling presence. Some have suggested that this could be a tree goblin, a creature from folklore said to reside within trees, causing them to grow in bizarre and disturbing ways. Others think it's nothing and that she's just seeking attention. Looking at the clip, I'm tempted to think she's genuinely got reasons to be disturbed, but what do you think? Could it be just an odd natural formation, or is there something more sinister at play here? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section. Next up, we've got a clip from a hunter who was out in the woods on a bright afternoon, tracking what he believed to be signs of a Bigfoot. After spotting some large footprints in the mud, his curiosity was piqued, but it wasn't long before something else caught his attention. Moving behind the bushes ahead of him stirred his instincts. Peeking out from the thick brush was a dark-furred bipedal creature. Its large muscular frame moved with an eerie silence as it tried to remain hidden, but its piercing eyes and face were unmistakable. Just look at that face. It had a human-like structure, but the features were distinctly animalistic. So what do you think? Genuine or not genuine? Let us know in the comments. In this footage, a man was walking home late one night when he made the fateful decision to take a shortcut through the woods. As he ventured deeper, a sense of unease settled in, and halfway through he noticed something unnerving, a pair of glowing eyes peering from behind a massive tree. Intrigued yet cautious, he decided to investigate. He circled the tree, but when he got there, whatever it was had vanished without a trace. Shaken, but unable to find any clues, he continued his journey home, trying to brush off the encounter as just his imagination. But as he neared the end of the path, those same glowing red eyes appeared, this time from the side of the trail. In a split second, the eyes darted across his path. Just looking at that, it looks like a four-legged creature, but it was so fast you can hardly tell. Fortunately, he made it home safely, but the encounter left him rattled. Some are speculating that the creature might have been the mysterious, elusive, and dangerous dogman who is said to roam the forests, but what do you think? A passenger on a plane shared some rather strange and captivating footage she captured during her flight.
No, it's not. What is it? Kerry, what is that? What is that? Kerry, what is that?
I have no idea.
Oh.
In the footage, a dark figure can be seen in the sky. At first, it appears to be moving swiftly upward, heading toward the right. But as she continues to film, the object suddenly changes course. It doesn't dart or move erratically, but instead makes a slow, deliberate turn and begins aiming toward the left, still ascending. The movement is so smooth and unusual that it's difficult to tell what the object could be. The object doesn't behave like typical aircraft or birds, and its flight path suggests a level of control that adds to the mystery. What do you think this dark figure could be? Is it a natural phenomenon, or are we witnessing something otherworldly?
No, it's not. What is it? Kerry, what is that? What is that? Kerry, what is it?
I have no idea.
While you share your thoughts on that, prepare your mind for an unsettling clip from Peru. The homeowner it belongs to was left in shock when he stumbled upon it. The clip shows his backyard, which was fenced off from a wooded area. It looked normal and ordinary until something came crawling out of the woods. It was a creature unlike any he'd ever seen. Its skin had a pinkish hue, almost human-like, but its overall appearance was far from normal. It also had small, glowing eyes that pierced through the darkness, and its face was contorted in a snarl, revealing sharp, razor-like teeth. You could even see its tongue slithering in and out of its mouth like some kind of serpent. The creature moved close to the fence and appeared to be peering into the house as if hunting for something or someone. Despite its menacing look, the creature never tried to enter the house. Instead, it lurked behind the bushes, watching, and the footage ended without further incident. Understandably, the homeowner was terrified after witnessing this, so much so that he decided to move away from the property entirely. Now, the big question remains: what exactly was that creature? We have our theories, but this time we're interested in hearing yours. This particular clip has been making the rounds online, leaving many people shocked and intrigued. Some deep-sea researchers were allegedly conducting an expedition in the Gulf of Mexico when they stumbled upon something extraordinary. As you can see, it was an enormous sea creature swimming gracefully through the waters. According to the team, after studying the footage and comparing it with known marine life, they believe this could be a juvenile mosasaurus. If you're unfamiliar with the name, it's because the mosasaurus is a prehistoric marine reptile thought to have gone extinct millions of years ago. If this discovery holds any truth, it will be one of the most astonishing finds in modern history. But what do you think? Could this truly be a living fossil or edited footage? If you love exploring the woods, then this next clip is for you. This clip was captured by a trail camera set in the woods by a man hoping to capture the local wildlife. At least, that was his original intention. The camera ended up recording a dark, furred creature with a dome-shaped head staring directly at the lens. The creature's appearance was unsettling, and it left the man questioning what he had seen. Confused and maybe a little scared, he shared the footage online seeking answers. His original hypothesis, however, was that he had captured an image of Bigfoot. Not everyone accepts or is convinced by this hypothesis. Some viewers stated that the creature looked more gorilla than the elusive Bigfoot. You've seen the clip as well. Which side are you on? Our next destination is space. This intriguing footage, allegedly captured by the International Space Station, or ISS for short, shows a V-shaped craft flying across the sky. The sighting has generated significant buzz, with many believing this has to be proof of extraterrestrial activity. Skeptics, on the other hand, are quick to dismiss the footage, suggesting that it could be a hoax or misinterpreted natural phenomena like space debris, reflections, or even camera artifacts. There are some who also argue that the shape and movement appear too deliberate to be easily explained. In other words, they think it's fake. While 10 years ago we would have been laughing at this clip, given the rise in fake UFO footage and the confessions from top officials in the USA, it's difficult to simply dismiss this clip as being fake. Either way, you've seen it, so what do you think is going on here? Some Chinese researchers used a super radar with an impressive range of about 5,900 miles to examine the pyramids of Giza. and what they discovered was truly unexpected. They detected plasma bubbles. Yes, you heard that right. These mysterious bubbles, which are usually associated with atmospheric phenomena, are intriguing to say the least. The discovery has raised questions about the possible interactions between the ancient structures and natural or even unknown forces. What could this mean? Could the pyramids of Giza be linked to atmospheric anomalies, or is there something else going on that we have yet to understand? In a nature documentary called The Great North, some viewers noticed something peculiar during one of the episodes. The footage shows a herd of caribou running from a grassy area into a water body. But that's not where the mystery lies. In the background, further on the land, a dark figure can be seen moving on two legs. When the footage was zoomed in, the creature appeared to be carrying a smaller figure on its back. Some who closely examined the footage believed it could be a mother Bigfoot carrying her baby, possibly out hunting for food. Take a closer look. What do you think? Could this be another rare sighting of the elusive Bigfoot?
So,
that's so trippy.
yes, it is.
Here we have another mysterious piece of footage. A group of men were out one night when they noticed something strange in the sky. Do you see it? There's a cluster of sparkling lights in the darkness, but they are not stars. It looked like some sort of cloud or invisible object giving off these twinkling lights, almost as if something was cloaked and only the sparkling spots were visible. Some hypotheses included a mother spaceship hiding there, as well as the rumored Blue Beam project. The clip doesn't, however, give us much to work with, so what do you think?
So,
That's so trippy.
yes, it is.
Friends decided to explore an abandoned facility. As they made their way through the empty place, the man behind the camera ventured up a staircase. Arriving at a series of rooms that were locked. These rooms had metal fencing doors, allowing him to see inside. Curious, he began to look around. While inspecting one particular dark room, something spooked him so much that he quickly ran back down the stairs. It wasn't until reviewing the footage that he realized what had freaked him out. There, in the room, was a dark figure lurking. It had this ominous feel to it, but that's all he knew about it. He uploaded the clip seeking answers, but the community can't seem to come to an agreement. Responses range from it being a shadow creature to the whole thing being a hoax. You've seen the clip, so what do you think that we're dealing with here? People have unique ways of honoring their loved ones who have passed, but what I'm about to show you might just be the most unsettling tribute yet. This man from Florida, who was a musician, decided to build a guitar using the skeletal remains of his uncle. According to him, this was his way of honoring his uncle, who introduced him to heavy metal music. He shared his creation online, and views were divided. Some thought it was fascinating, while others thought it was eerie. There were even some who thought it was outright disrespectful, but then again, people in their culture vary. How would you have interpreted this? If you were his uncle, would you have been happy with this? Not many people believe in ghosts or paranormal activity, but this video might have even the biggest skeptics talking. A woman was sitting quietly when she felt an odd sensation on her left hand. It was almost as though someone was gently touching her fingers. If she was with loved ones, it would have been reassuring, but she was completely alone at the time. Curious and a bit unsettled, she pulled out her phone to record what was happening. And this is what she captured. Her ring, sitting on her finger, began to slowly rotate on its own. Just look at that. Weird, right? There's no world where this is normal and natural. It got many folks in the paranormal community talking. Some believed it was genuine. There were also some who thought it had to be fake. Some thought the clip had to be doctored. Whereas others assumed she was using a trick, say a magnet to turn the ring. You've seen the clip too, so what do you think is going on here? While you share your thoughts, we move on to something even more bizarre. In the clip, we see a group of people gathered in a room, and in the center, an older man stands with his hands outstretched, holding 3 fingers over a piece of paper. Suddenly, smoke begins to come out of the paper, and just like that, a small hole forms. It doesn't remain small, though. It gets wider, and a ring of fire appears around it. We're not sure, but the man seems to be using some unknown power to burn a hole straight through the paper. The crowd, amazed, starts clapping. Some are calling this an act of transmutation, suggesting that the man is focusing his energy and transforming it into heat, causing the paper to burn. Others, however, are more skeptical, dismissing it as a trick or illusion. What do you think? Is it real or just a clever performance? Here we have another curious image captured on a trail camera, showing an ape-like creature sitting in the shade of the trees. The owner of the image sets up the camera in hopes of capturing footage of Bigfoot, as there have been several reports of sightings in the area, and he was not disappointed. Now, some are claiming that this creature could just be a monkey or a very large primate. However, Bigfoot enthusiasts are convinced that this is the real deal. But what do you think? This next footage, taken at an undisclosed location, shows something truly strange in the sky, a bright, glowing spiral. It's not the sun, as the actual sun is clearly visible right beside it, so what could this mysterious spiral be? The spiral appears to rotate slowly, emitting a dazzling light that many viewers claim looks like a portal or vortex. Its odd shape and eerie glow have left people speculating. Some think it could be a natural atmospheric phenomenon, while others believe it's something far more unusual, perhaps linked to extraterrestrial activity or secret technology. But what do you think?
Did you see that? That little bang is enough to penetrate the skull and destroy the contents.
Technology has undoubtedly made our lives faster and more convenient, but we can't just overlook how it's also becoming increasingly dangerous. Just take a look at this new invention. Did you see that? This tiny drone carries just 3 grams of explosives, and when deployed, it can penetrate the skull and wreak havoc. It's fascinating yet terrifying to see how something so small can cause such destruction. What are your thoughts on this?
This is how it works. Did you see that? That little bang is enough to penetrate the skull and destroy the contents.
In India, there's an intriguing ancient method used to find underground water. Here's how it works. First, they peel the coconut, place it sideways on their palm. Then they walk around holding it gently. Watch this. When they reach a spot with water beneath the ground, the coconut mysteriously stands upright in their palm. It's fascinating to see this in action. Known as dowsing, this method has been passed down through generations and is said to be quite efficient. Am I the only one who thinks it's incredible how ancient traditions still hold relevance today? Oh, wait, I forgot to ask. Julius, how legit this is, but, well, no one lies on the internet, right? Right. Next, we visit Thailand, where a massive discovery has been made. This is an object about 72 meters long, reported to be a fossilized tree. What makes this fascinating is the fact that this giant tree is said to be around 800,000 years old. The find itself is remarkable, but something else about it sparked curiosity and a bit of unease. One commenter made a rather chilling observation that's hard to shake off. He suggested that the supposed fossilized tree actually resembles a femur, the thigh bone of some unimaginably large creature. The funny thing is, once you take a closer look at the structure, it's hard to unsee the bone-like qualities. The proportions, shape, and surface texture all seem to echo something much more than a tree. Well, maybe I'm getting ahead of myself, but what about your thoughts on this eerie find? Next up, we've got this bizarre security footage. A woman was sitting in a shop when the door suddenly opened. She quickly turned her head to look at the door, then slightly bowed her head in what seemed like a greeting. She even opened another door as if allowing someone inside. But here's the thing, there was no one there. She then proceeds to walk to one of the cupboards, speaking about a product to what appears to be no one. This strange exchange carries on for a while until two others come in inside the shop, watching her intently, clearly puzzled by who she's talking to. When one of them touches her, she suddenly falls down. They had been observing her on the security camera, and from the looks of it, she was talking into the air, so they came to check up on her, and that happened. Creepy, right? What do you think might have been going on here? Could it have been a ghost customer? Quite recently, astronomers shared a bizarre sighting they had captured of the surface of the moon. In the footage, a strange craft seems to emerge from inside a crater on the moon's surface. This craft is oval-shaped and long, as if it moves across the lunar surface. You can even see its shadow trailing behind. What's fascinating is that this craft appeared to come from within the moon itself. Could this be an indication that life exists beneath the moon's surface, or is it possible there's something more mysterious going on up there? What do we have here? A flat, circular, flame-like cloud partially hidden behind a large, dark cloud. It almost looks like something out of a sci-fi movie, doesn't it? The shape and fiery glow make it appear almost otherworldly, like some kind of celestial event or an unidentified aerial phenomenon. So, what could this be? One possibility is that it's a rare type of lenticular cloud, which can form in smooth, lens-like shapes near mountains or in certain weather conditions. These clouds sometimes reflect sunlight in ways that make them glow or appear otherworldly, or it could be a form of weather anomaly such as cloud-to-cloud lightning or a particularly striking atmospheric effect. Hold on, well, what if it's no cloud at all?
There's a Sasquatch that's in a barn down the road, and there's state and federal authorities there. The government has showed up. There's a helicopter up there.
While you think of that, I've got another clip, and it features this man who claims that there is a Bigfoot hiding in a barn on the side of the road. According to him, police and security agencies have surrounded the barn, and even a helicopter is hovering above. He says that the authorities have been chasing this creature through the woods before it finally sought refuge in the barn. Now, I'm curious if anyone else has heard about this situation. It would be really helpful if anyone had more insight or details regarding this incident. We couldn't find anything about it online, but then again, if it's genuine, I won't expect to, if you know what I mean.
You know, that's what I understand. They have a Bigfoot in a barn that did something. I'm not really sure what, but they were chasing it. It went into a barn, and it's cornered.
I'm gonna see something.
¿Está bien? Holy shit. ¿Está bien?
A man ventured into a graveyard, and while walking through, he came across a figure a few meters away. It looked like a dark silhouette crouched on the ground in front of a wall. At first, he thought it was a person and called out to it, but then something unexpected happened. As soon as he yelled, the figure stood up and began to glide upwards along the wall. It wasn't just any wall either, it was part of a tomb. Now, people are speculating about what this entity could be. Some believe it might be a demon or some supernatural being. What do you guys think? If it's truly a supernatural being, what do you think it was doing there?
I'm gonna see something.
¿Está bien? Holy shit. ¿Está bien?
Some men ventured into the San Luis Valley after hearing reports of Bigfoot sightings in the area. They were eager to investigate, hoping to catch a glimpse of the elusive creature. When they arrived, they didn't manage to spot Bigfoot, but what they found was just as intriguing: an enormous footprint in the ground. Look at that. The sheer size of the print is impressive, and while they didn't get a visual of the creature itself, this evidence was enough to leave them convinced that something unusual was out there. Could this footprint belong to Bigfoot? What do you think? Proof of a legendary creature or something else entirely? A resident was on his way home when he noticed something strange coming from one of their neighbors' houses. A single room light was flickering on and off. Intrigued, they slowed down and filmed the eerie sight. When this footage was shown to Julius, he shrugged it off, suggesting it was likely just an electrical fault. But Aaron has a different take, believing it wasn't a simple malfunction, but rather a sign of paranormal activity. What do you think? Could this just be a coincidence, or is there something more supernatural going on in that flickering room? An observer recently shared a curious piece of footage that has everyone asking the same question. What is this strange tube-like cloud moving across the sky? The object in question is small and appears to be a narrow tube of clouds drifting alongside a larger mass of clouds. What's even more bizarre is its movement. Unlike the surrounding clouds, this tube seems to be moving independently, almost like it has a life of its own. While clouds are shaped by natural forces like wind and air pressure, the way this one is behaving feels off. Could this be some sort of atmospheric phenomenon we don't yet fully understand, or is there something else at play here? Some might suggest it's a rare natural occurrence like a funnel cloud or a tornado in its early stages, but the size and shape don't quite match up to those typical weather patterns. What do you think? Is this a natural weather phenomenon, or could this tube-shaped cloud be something more mysterious?
Channel 7 Skychopper News here, looking at the widespread destruction and the aftermath of the tornado that hit Sunny Hills Trailer Park today. It is a miracle that anybody survived.
What do you consider a coincidence? In Oklahoma, there was a tornado that left destruction in its wake. After the storm, news reporters were on site and a drone captured footage of the area from above. What it recorded was something quite unusual. After the chaos, the trees that were not affected by the tornado were shaped in a way that eerily resembled the popular image of Jesus, the one with his head and beard. The landscape after such devastation seemed disturbing enough, but this specific shape has left many wondering. Why Jesus, though? Is this just a strange coincidence, or could it be a sign? Some are even speculating that it could be a biblical warning. Julius claims that there are apps capable of doing this, but Aaron isn't having any of it. What are your thoughts?
Channel 7 Skychopper News here, looking at the widespread destruction and the aftermath of the tornado that hit Sunny Hills Trailer Park today. It is a miracle that anybody survived.
This video really gives off a trippy vibe, especially with how the cat's unique coloring stands out. Its body seems divided into two distinct sections. From the stomach to the hind legs, it's a rich dark brown, while the front legs to the head are black with a striking white pattern that runs from between the eyes down to the mouth and neck. The black and white combo looks pretty standard for a cat, but the way that deep brown color appears in the back half of its body makes it look unusual. The way the black and brown meet creates this almost perfect dividing line along the back, which just adds to the oddness. It's as if someone stitched two different cats together, front and back halves not quite matching. This kind of rare fur pattern must catch a lot of eyes. It's amazing how nature can create these unexpected combinations, almost like a work of abstract art. Have you ever seen a cat with such striking color contrasts before? Do you think it's even real? Let's hear your thoughts in the comment section. Ever wondered what a kidney stone looks like and how doctors treat it? No? Well, let's dive into it. Kidney stones are hard deposits of minerals and salts that can form inside your kidneys. They vary in size from a grain of sand to, in rare cases, something as large as a golf ball. When a stone forms and becomes lodged in the urinary tract, it can cause severe pain, often described as one of the most intense experiences a person can have. To treat this, doctors use a procedure known as lithotripsy or stone punch. It involves inserting a small device into the kidney. This device comes with a tiny camera, which allows the doctor to see exactly where the stone is located. Once in position, the machine delivers high-energy sound waves or lasers to break the stone into smaller pieces. These fragments can then pass through the urinary tract more easily, reducing the need for surgery. The process is highly effective, and while it may sound uncomfortable, it's much less invasive than traditional surgery. Next, we've got this clip sent in by a subscriber. Take a look. He was on his bicycle when he came across a little boy on a bicycle. Right after the boy rode past him, the same boy appeared again on another bicycle approaching. Naturally, he was very shocked. The same person appeared twice on the same bicycle. How? Could this have something to do with the glitches in the Matrix? Was he duplicated by a glitch in the Matrix? This is the question I was asking myself until I took a closer look. When you look at the shoes, the first boy had an all-black sneaker, while the second boy had a white patch at the front of his sneaker. Why does this matter? Well, there's a chance that they could be identical twins. They were in the same clothes, on the same bike, with the same face and structure except for their shoes. Identical twins can create some eerie and surprising moments, especially when they're dressed alike. I guess we can call them nature's glitches. What do you think? These bleeding tree clips never get old. Just look at that. A man is cutting through a tree and gushing out his crimson red liquid. It's an astonishing sight, almost as if the tree is alive in a way we don't usually think about. This phenomenon is typically seen in a specific type of tree known as the bloodwood tree, found in places like South Africa. When cut, it releases a sap that resembles blood, adding to its mystique and intrigue. The crimson sap isn't actually blood, of course, but it does serve a purpose. It can act as a deterrent to pests and help seal wounds to protect the tree from infections. The sight of the red sap flowing from the tree can be both mesmerizing and unsettling, making you question the wonders of nature. Have you ever seen anything like this before? Someone came across this unusual creature on the ground in the park. It looked like a bat, but it was out during the day and seemed quite aggressive. It let out a strange growl, like squeak, as it tried to attack the man behind the camera. Finding such a creature during the day is unusual for a bat, as they are typically nocturnal. The aggressive behavior and the strange vocalizations add to the mystery. While bats can sometimes be active during the day due to illness or disturbance, it's rare to encounter one acting so aggressively. What do you think this creature could be? Imagine taking an evening stroll to unwind after a long day's work. Suddenly you feel eyes on you, prompting you to look around to ensure you're not imagining things. That's exactly what you see in the clip you're watching. The video clip was captured by a man, as evident from the voice we hear. It was taken in the dead of night, making it challenging to determine his exact location while recording. In the midst of this, a pair of glowing eyes can be seen in the far distance, staring right back at him. I can't help but wonder what creature they belong to and what this creature might be planning. It appears to be patient, waiting for the man to slip up so it could launch a sneak attack. Thankfully, the man remained alert the whole time and made it to safety. But you have to wonder, What was that creature? Is it an apex predator in the woods the man was exploring? Or could the man have encountered a supernatural being and been merely lucky to have made it out alive? Share your thoughts with us. If you've experienced something similar, don't forget to let us know as well. If you still haven't hit the like button, subscribed, or even dropped a comment, could you do it now? Thank you very much. It means a lot and allows us to create more content like this. Has your dashboard cam ever captured something that left you stupefied? Stupefied? Yep, I think that's the word. By stupefied, I mean so surprised that you're just tongue-tied. Well, the next footage is sure to leave you feeling like that. Take a look. Did you see that? This dashcam footage was taken by an unknown driver traveling along a highway lined with trees with a tall mountain in the distance. A few seconds into the recording, a small figure could be seen attempting to cross the road. What is that? Ever seen anything like it? If you answered no, you won't be alone, because the truth is we haven't either. And despite our thorough research process, we couldn't find anything from our paranormal archives. We've never even thought something like that existed in the first place. Many in the paranormal community who saw the footage wondered the same, and while some thought it was a paranormal creature, others thought we could be dealing with something alien. Some even believed it was a glitch in the Matrix. While those seem plausible, allow me to introduce the supernatural. Have you considered the fact that this could be a spirit or demonic entity? Does that seem like too much of a stretch, or do you also think we're actually dealing with something of that nature? Share your thoughts in the comments section, as I'd really love to hear them. When most people come across creatures like skinwalkers or other cryptids, their first instinct is to run. But in this rather shocking encounter, one man decided to do the exact opposite.
I know he's right there.
It all began when he was suddenly awakened in the middle of the night by a strange noise coming from outside. Instead of ignoring it, he grabbed his phone and stepped outside to investigate, a decision that would lead him to a truly unsettling discovery. The eerie noise drew him towards a massive tree in his yard. As he cautiously approached, his phone's camera captured something perched at the very top of the tree. It was a pale, ghastly head with glowing eyes, staring down at him from the darkness. The creature seemed to be watching him intently, its eyes glowing ominously against the night sky. The sheer size of the tree and the height at which the creature was perched made the sight all the more terrifying. But what's truly remarkable is that the man didn't turn and flee. He stood his ground, documenting the encounter. Now, if I were in his shoes, I wouldn't even have stepped outside after hearing strange noises, let alone ventured close to that tree. But you have to admit, this guy has nerves of steel. What could this creature have been?
I know he's right there.
Can somebody please explain this to me? How does the mirror know what the heck I'm doing behind it? Like, there's no way it could see me wiggling my finger through it. Let's go bigger. There's no way. Oh, you're kidding, bigger.
This man was completely shocked by what he discovered. He held a piece of paper up to a mirror, pressing it against the surface with his fingers. Now, as he wiggled his fingers behind the paper, they were hidden from view, at least that's what you'd expect. But when he looked at the reflection from the side, something strange happened. The mirror showed his fingers wiggling even though they were completely covered by the paper. Intrigued, he tried the experiment again, this time using a larger object to block his fingers, and yet the result was the same. The reflection still showed his fingers moving, as if the mirror was somehow seeing through the object. His reaction was pure disbelief. He repeated the process multiple times, each time more shocked than the last. The mirror's reflection seemed to defy the laws of physics, showing something that should have been impossible. What could be causing this strange phenomenon?
Oh, you're kidding, bigger. Right in the middle. I give up. I can't wrap my brain around it. I'm done.
Next, we have footage from a TikTok user who claims to have a pretty wild encounter with what they believe was a Yeti. Now, if you're not familiar, Yetis are like the snowy cousins of Bigfoots, often associated with the remote corners of Asia and sporting that signature snow-white fur. Let's take a look. Our brave adventurer and his friend decided to take a little nighttime foray into the woods. You know, the kind of thing you do when you're up for a bit of mystery. As they're poking around in the dark, they suddenly hear this strange and eerie noise that sends shivers down their spines. Naturally, they swing their camera in the direction of the sound, ready for a good old investigation. What they find in the glow of their camera's light is pretty darn mysterious. There's this creature, and its face seems to have the kind of fur you'd associate with a Yeti. But here's the kicker. The rest of the creature's features are lost in the darkness. It's like they're playing a game of hide-and-seek with the shadows. Now, as you'd expect, once this mysterious critter realizes it's being discovered, it pulls a vanishing act and melts back into the night. So here's the million-dollar question. Did this fearless duo truly cross paths with a real-life Yeti that night, or are they simply misleading us? Share your thoughts. Next, we have footage that we're still trying to wrap our heads around. This TikTok motorbiker who films his adventures on his bike through the woodlands was on one of his adventures when he realized that he was actually lost. After riding around trying to find his way out without much success, he stops to try and reach a friend, but without much luck. As he stood there wondering what to do, he heard hisses coming from the bushes. He quickly turns around trying to find the creature. Whatever it is, it appears to be making really good use of the camouflage the plants make possible. The uploader of the footage indicated where the creature was standing with the arrow you see on your screen. But try as we may, we couldn't see the creature. Can you? If so, what creature are we dealing with? Could it be a bear or wolf of some kind? Or perhaps a cryptid? It's a Bigfoot, isn't it? Please do share what you see. Next, we got a group of friends out in Auburn who went fishing one day, hoping for a relaxing day by the water. But their peaceful outing took a wild turn when an unexpected creature appeared not too far from them.
Look at that. What the? Oh my God. Go! Run!
It was an 8-foot-tall being covered in brown fur, striding purposefully towards some nearby bushes. The sheer size and presence of the creature left them in stunned silence for a moment. Then, instincts kicked in, and they bolted straight toward their car, hearts pounding with fear and adrenaline. Luckily, one of them had been filming their fishing adventure, capturing the mysterious figure on camera. The footage is shaky, understandably so given the circumstances, but you could make out the tall, fur-covered creature moving. Now, this clip has the paranormal community excited. Some who live in the area want to go check it out, hoping they can find the big guy. Despite their excitement, however, there are those who believe the whole thing was staged by the friends. What do you think?
That. What the? Oh my God. Go! Run!
Would you believe me if I told you we're at the point of growing aircraft skins and building planes that can change their shapes mid-flight? Sounds futuristic, I know, but listen.
New materials that are on the lab bench right now, they can literally change shape on command. They can become almost a muscular material.
We could have an airplane that optimizes its shape for the different flight conditions it's in.
Lockheed Martin has always been at the forefront of groundbreaking technology, but their latest innovations are truly mind-blowing. They recently announced the development of an aircraft skin that could optimize its shape based on the type of flight. Sounds eerily similar to the descriptions of UFOs we've heard over the years, right? One of the men mentions OS, an aircraft that can change its shape mid-flight to become more aerodynamic, efficient, or stealthy, depending on the situation. This kind of adaptive technology could revolutionize aviation as we know it. No longer would aircraft be limited by a fixed design. They could morph and adapt, much like how nature's most efficient flyers, like birds, adjust their wing shapes. But here's where it gets even more interesting. The concept of shape-shifting aircraft brings to mind the countless UFO sightings reported worldwide. Many of these unidentified flying objects are described as having the ability to change shape or perform maneuvers that defy conventional aerodynamics. Could Lockheed Martin be inching us closer to technologies that once seemed purely science fiction? While I would love to think so, some individuals in the paranormal community believe they already have the technology and are only sensitizing us to it before they launch it. There are some who also believe that the aliens we see are no aliens at all. They believe it's Lockheed and his team testing their technology, or even running it. What do you think?
New materials that are on the lab bench right now, they can literally change shape on command. They can become almost a muscular material.
We could have an airplane that optimizes its shape for the different flight conditions it's in.
Ah, the enigmas of Trailcam photography, always ready to present us with a puzzle. In this intriguing image, taken by a trusty Trailcam, we're faced with something truly mysterious, something that defies easy description. At first glance, it's a structure or creature that's rather hard to pin down. The upper part, which we might speculate is the head, resembles something like the head of a small creature, like a squirrel, but then again it could pass for a nest. Its lower section looks like a tangle of tree branches and twigs. Now the question is, what on earth could this be? Is it some peculiar plant growth in the woods? Did someone set it up? If so, for what purpose? Or could it perhaps be a tree monster straight out of folklore? The truth is, we don't know, and neither does the one whose Trailcam took the footage. Here's the real mystery, though. Whatever this is, when the one whose Trailcam took the pictures returned to the location, it wasn't there. This leaves us with a mystery that might remain unsolved, leaving us with a sense of wonder and curiosity. A truck driver is on the road when suddenly he starts to feel very uncomfortable. Did he hit something, perhaps a stray dog or some object on the road? Concerned, he parks his truck and checks his rearview mirror, then looks behind the vehicle. Initially, there's nothing unusual to be seen, just an empty road behind him. It's as if his initial concern was unfounded. However, that nagging feeling persists, so he decides to give it another look. This time, as he reviews the footage from his dashcam, he spots something rather peculiar. There's an entity of some sort captured behind his car in the dashcam's recording, but when he physically turns around to see, there's absolutely nothing there. It's like a digital ghost, an image that exists on screen but not in the real world. The sheer oddity of the situation leaves the driver with a sense of bewilderment. Was it a technological glitch, perhaps something with the camera or the recording process? Or could it be something more mysterious, something that defies easy explanation? Without waiting to find out, he bolts out of this place, and I can see myself doing the same if I were him. A man was walking in the woods at night when he noticed something unsettling, a figure crouched by a tree, watching him. Instinctively, he began to film, and what he captured is truly disturbing. As the camera focuses, a woman in a short white robe slowly stands up, her body trembling uncontrollably. Then, in a series of unsettling sideways steps, she begins to move towards him. Her legs are crooked, adding to the eerie, unnatural way she moves. After a few short steps, she suddenly launches herself towards him with terrifying speed. Let's watch that again and take a closer look at her appearance. This figure doesn't seem human. She has no eyes, just two dark, empty holes where they should be. Her long black hair is tied into two pigtails on either side of her head, adding to her ghostly appearance. Her mouth is wide open, but what's truly disturbing is that her mouth isn't just on her face. It extends unnaturally to the side of her head, as if her very anatomy is twisted and wrong. This sight is beyond unsettling. It's as if she's something from a nightmare, something that defies the normal rules of human appearance. Whatever it is, it's clear that it's not human. This is exactly why you should think twice before venturing into the woods after dark. Just a few months ago, on June the 26th, a woman decided to take a hike in the woods of Ohio after sundown. What started as a peaceful walk quickly turned into something straight out of a horror movie.
Yeah. Hi. Hi. I can't go home. Please, I'm leaving.
As she made her way deeper into the forest, an uneasy feeling crept over her. You know, that gut feeling you get when something's just not right. She couldn't shake it, so she pulled out her phone and began filming her surroundings. That's when she noticed it, something lurking behind a nearby tree. At first, it was just a faint glow, almost imperceptible. But as she focused a camera, the glowing eyes became clear. They were attached to a massive dark figure that blended so well with the night that you could barely make out its outline. But it was there, watching her. Understandably shaken, the woman decided it was time to leave. But as she hurried out of the woods and into a clearing, she realized that whatever this thing was, it wasn't done with her. The creature followed her out of the woods, and now under the open sky, she could see it more clearly. It was enormous, towering over the landscape, and those glowing eyes seemed almost unnatural. Some, like Aaron, are convinced that what she encountered was a Bigfoot, a legendary creature that's been part of folklore for generations. But others, like Julius, are more skeptical, dismissing the footage as nothing more than a hoax designed to scare people. But what do you also think?
Hi. Thank you. I can't go home. Please, I'm leaving.
Mysterious Trailcam images like these can indeed boggle the mind and stir the imagination. In the first image, we're presented with a worm-like creature featuring an eerie human arm, which is truly grotesque and an unsettling sight. The creature resembles a fleshy blob that seems more at home in a sci-fi horror movie than in the depths of the wilderness. In the subsequent image, we encounter a creature that bears some similarities, but with an added eerie twist. This time, it sports two large fangs protruding from its mouth, along with a set of razor-sharp teeth. The contrast between the two images is enough to leave anyone pondering the nature of these mysterious creatures. Are they the result of some natural anomaly? Are we dealing with an optical illusion or a prankster's creation? Whatever the case is, these Trailcam images are unsettling, and I pray no one has to encounter creatures such as these. Before you watch the next clip, could you please hit the like button, subscribe, and even drop a comment if you haven't already? It goes a long way to make it possible to create more videos for you. Thank you for doing so. Moving back to the day's episode. Now, what is this? Black, thick, gigantic strands floating to the ocean's surface. The first thing that came to mind when I saw them was wigs. Turns out they aren't wigs, and the mermaids aren't shedding their hair. I wonder what gives me such ideas. I did the research and discovered that I didn't need to. A number of the individuals who commented on the original post had it right. We're dealing with kelp. For those unfamiliar with it, kelp is a type of large brown seaweed that thrives in cold, nutrient-rich waters and grows in underwater forests found along coastlines. These underwater forests can extend from the ocean floor to the surface, where the kelp fronds create a thick and dense canopy. Kelp can grow up to 60 meters in length, making it one of the fastest-growing plants in the world. The kelp forests are home to numerous marine organisms, including fish, crabs, and sea urchins that rely on kelp for food and shelter. They can, however, become detached from the seafloor due to storms, strong currents, or other factors. When that happens, they float to the surface and create large clumps or mats like in the clip above. So, no wigs. Disappointing. Before I move on to the next clip, though, I thought I'd share my favorite comment from the original post with you. The first time I read this, I almost believed it till the last statement. That's why I had to do my own research. The internet can be a funny place. Who knew? When you decide to go camping, you have to be ready for anything that might come your way, especially when you're out in the wild where the unknown lurks.
What the hell is that? What the hell is that, man?
A man experienced this firsthand during a solo camping trip in the woods. In the dead of night, he woke up with the urge to relieve himself. As he stepped out of his tent, something caught his eye just a few meters away, partially hidden behind some bushes. There, in the darkness, he saw it, a pair of glowing eyes staring right back at him. But that wasn't all. As he focused, he noticed a shadowy arm emerge from the bushes. The creature's gaze locked onto the man who was frozen in fear, his camera capturing the unsettling encounter. The creature was shrouded in the shadows of the night, making it impossible to determine what it was. Was it just a nocturnal animal, its eyes reflecting the light? Or was it something more mysterious, perhaps a cryptid, one of those legendary creatures that people whisper about but rarely see?
What the hell? Bro, it's got hands!
Let's dive into this unsettling footage taken by Daniel O'Neill, a YouTuber based in the UK who often shares videos of his solo camping adventures. In this particular video, something eerie unfolds, leaving viewers with more questions than answers.
Someone's been here. There's a lot of rubbish around here. Yeah, look at the state of this.
It started off as a typical day for Daniel. After wandering through the woods, he found a spot to set up camp for the night. He settled in, brewing some coffee and waiting for his noodles to cook. Everything seemed normal until the unsettling moment occurred. Did you hear that? The sound of steady footsteps echoed through the trees. Daniel, puzzled, looked around but saw no one. Concerned but trying to stay calm, he called out, "Hello?" And just like that, the footsteps stopped. It was as if someone or something was watching him and didn't want to be seen. Thinking it might have been his imagination, Daniel returned to his meal, but the sound started again only to stop abruptly once more. As day turned into night, the unease grew. The footsteps returned, this time louder and more deliberate. At this point, fear took over. Daniel decided he wasn't going to risk spending the night there. He quickly packed up his gear and moved to another spot, hoping to find some safety. This situation is beyond chilling. Imagine being alone in the woods hearing footsteps that shouldn't be there, knowing you're miles away from anyone else. It's enough to make everyone's blood run cold. What or who was out there? If it was a person, they were definitely stalking him, and that's a terrifying thought. But what if it wasn't a person? Could it have been something else, something unexplainable lurking in the shadows?
I'm going to be honest. I can't stay here now. I'm going to be a wimp. I don't care if people call me a wimp in the comments, but I can't stay here.
Ya, teman-teman. Tuh. Oke, saya dapat. Harumnya.
This man came across a strange-looking creature in a cave. It's said that the creature is a cave gremlin. It was a miniature being with dark, beady eyes and a mouth with teeth sticking out. Many would have run at the sight of this creature, but the man took the creature home, cooked it, and ate it. Yes, this man ate a gremlin. That is one of the most bizarre things I've ever come across on the internet. Gremlins are often considered mythical creatures with various stories and legends attributing them with magical or mischievous qualities. Eating a potential mystical or unknown creature not only disregards cultural and mythical significances, but also poses serious health risks. Who knows what kind of diseases or toxins an unknown creature might carry? If this is indeed real, do you think people should show more respect for unknown and mythical creatures, or should turning them into delicacies be the acceptable norm? Share your thoughts.
Harumnya.
While out in the woods with a friend who was attending to some dried plants, a man started filming and panning his camera around. While we can't tell why he was doing it, we do see something unusual coming into view. Running pretty fast behind a tree was this strange miniature creature. The creature wasn't very far from them and seemed to be running away from the worksite. This creature was clearly bipedal and had largely oddly shaped ears. You can't make out the rest of its features. Some suggest it's an animal known for its ability to stand on two legs, with a small primate or even a kangaroo rat. Others lean toward a more fantastical explanation, a fairy tale creature like a goblin or a forest sprite. Given the short clip, it's hard to tell, but what do you think this mysterious miniature bipedal creature with large ears could be? Let us know in the comments.
Vai ser auxílio. Míralo, míralo, mi papá bailando con mira, mira.
Next, we've got a family enjoying a cozy bonfire night with laughter filling the air. This man is holding a child in his arms, swaying back and forth behind the fire. You can even hear the claps from the people behind the camera. But then something eerie happens that turns this heartwarming moment into a scene straight out of a horror movie. Well, that's a bit of an exaggeration, but you get it. As the man dances, a ghostly figure suddenly appears, trailing him closely. This figure isn't just lurking in the background, it seems to be following his every move. When he steps to the right, it follows. When he sways to the left, it mirrors him, as if it's trying to stay as close as possible. What makes this even more unsettling is the appearance of the figure. It's transparent, almost like a shadow or a wisp of smoke, but it has a distinct form. Its arms are stretched out, and it seems to be reaching toward the child, almost as if it's trying to take the child from the man's arms. The figure's movements are eerily synchronized with the man's, making it impossible to dismiss it as just a trick of the light or a camera glitch. The most terrifying part, no one noticed this figure in real time. It wasn't until the family reviewed the footage later that they realized what had been captured on camera. We don't have a context to the footage, so we cannot tell if this is a family member or just some random entity.
Míralo, míralo, mi papá bailando con mira, mira.
These days, fewer people are tuning into traditional TV. With everyone streaming or scrolling through social media, live shows just don't get the attention they used to. Attendance has dropped, and the excitement of a packed audience seems to be fading. But it looks like some event organizers might have found a solution, or perhaps a rather disturbing one.
De La Hoya's girl, wife? What is that? That shit looks uncanny as fuck. Fuck no. Look at that.
A man was watching a boxing match when he noticed something strange in the audience. Behind the ring, among the sea of spectators, was a woman. A very odd-looking woman. She was seated, staring straight at the ring, but something about her appearance was off. The man paused his TV, And that's when things got really strange. As you focus on the woman, it becomes clear that she doesn't look real at all. Her face was expressionless, almost like that of a mannequin. If this woman is indeed fake, it raises some unsettling questions. Are organizers now filling seats with fake audience members to make shows appear more popular than they are? And if so, how many more of these artificial spectators might be out there blending in with the crowd? Just imagine a stadium filled with fake people, with loudspeakers playing recorded cheers to simulate the excitement of a live crowd. It's a bizarre and eerie thought, isn't it? What do you think about this strange discovery? Could this be the future of live shows, or is there something else going on here? Share your thoughts in the comments. We're curious to hear what you think.
Are we just gonna ignore De La Hoya's wife? What is that? That shit looks uncanny as fuck. Fuck no. Look at that.
I just don't get why people put themselves through the torture of going into abandoned houses. They are likely hotspots for paranormal activities. Take a look at this footage, for instance. A woman goes into an abandoned building. She moves from room to room until she gets to one of the toilets, and this happens. In the toilet is black hair that looks like there's a head under the seat. The toilet lid suddenly slams open and closes as soon as the woman gets closer. It's as if the entity is warning her from getting any nearer. This makes her slowly back away from the place. Who knows what entities or spirits linger in these forgotten structures? Would you dare to explore an abandoned house, knowing what might be waiting for you inside? Ever heard of the Wise Man's Woods in England? No? Legend has it that in the past, druids used to perform rituals and sacrifices there, and because of this, the woods are known to harbor a lot of spirits. Recently, a young man shared this chilling video on his social media that has everyone talking.
Walking for like an hour now, it is pissing it down. These two are doing my head in. It's getting dark. I have no idea where the dog is. What?
He had taken his little siblings out for a walk in these very woods. They had been out for so long that it was starting to get dark, and he was getting increasingly frustrated trying to wrangle his siblings back toward home. In a moment of exasperation, he decided to record a video of himself and his siblings to capture their antics. As he was filming, his camera inadvertently caught something terrifying. Behind him, among the trees, there was a dark figure. It moved very quickly and seemed to vanish almost instantly. What makes this even more unsettling is that they were in the infamous Wise Man's Woods. Given the history of this place, it's not surprising that many in the paranormal community believe the figure in the video could be one of the many entities rumored to haunt the woods. Is that the case, though? It's hard to confirm it, but let us know your thoughts in the comments section.
It's getting dark. I have no idea where the dog is.
예,这是有点溜啊。哎，早追了嘛你。来了哟，来了哟。你撇那个是啥子虫？
This has got to be the boogiest caterpillar I've seen yet. A hairy one with a mohawk. This little guy was just casually moving along on a rock, looking like he was ready to rock out. Well, this isn't just an ordinary caterpillar. What you're looking at is the Palarisa cervina caterpillar. It might seem like it's dressed for a punk rock concert, but this is just nature's way of showing off its creativity. This caterpillar's unique appearance isn't just for show, though. The hair and mohawk-like features might help it blend in with its surroundings or even ward off predators. It's amazing how something so small can have such a big personality. Have you seen anything like this before? Let's take a look at this intriguing video captured by someone on their drive home one night in Belgium. As they were driving, they noticed something unusual in the sky, a horizontal arrangement of blue lights hovering ahead of them. At first, the lights appeared stationary as the car moved forward. My team and I initially thought it must just be a reflection on the car window, but then something strange happened. The lights began to contract, pulling together in a tight cluster, and then they suddenly expanded outward again. This was no ordinary reflection. Something was definitely going on in the sky. Many people who've seen the video believe that these lights could be a UFO, possibly hiding behind the clouds. The way the lights moved and changed shape certainly points to something out of the ordinary. Could it be that we're witnessing a sighting of an unidentified flying object, or is there another explanation we're missing? This man's unique perspective is truly fascinating.
When you take all the temples that are around the pyramid and the other two pyramids that are next to it, and you look at it from the sky looking down, and you connect them, you get an inner planet system of our solar system.
When you take a bird's eye view of the Pyramid of Giza and the surrounding temples, you notice something remarkable. The arrangement mirrors the interplanetary solar system. When compared with the NASA map, the alignment fits incredibly well. But here's the intriguing question. NASA wasn't around in those ancient times, so how did they figure this out? Think about it. The precision and accuracy needed to map such a complex structure to the solar system are astounding. This suggests that the ancient builders must have had access to some advanced form of technology or knowledge that allowed them to achieve this. It's a mind-boggling thought. How did they gain such an understanding of astronomy? Did they possess sophisticated tools or methods lost to history? Or was there an exchange of knowledge from otherworldly sources? Share your thoughts and perspectives. Let's decode this together. One night in the Balkans, a resident was woken up by strange sounds in the middle of the night. Curious and a bit unsettled, he decided to investigate.
Ничто се не види.
He grabbed a flashlight and made his way toward the mountain. As he got closer, an eerie feeling of immense fear began to wash over him. That's when he saw them. Two figures, each about 12 feet tall, stood on either side of a stone pillar. The figures were dark, with the shapes of humans draped in robes and wings spread behind them. They looked like angels, but their presence was haunting and otherworldly. The man managed to capture some footage, and when he shared it online, the internet went wild. Many believed these figures were angels. Their towering forms and wings fitted the description perfectly. However, others had a more sinister interpretation, suggesting they might be fallen angels or some other dark entities.
I've got this.
What do you think this is? A strange mass of weird-looking things on a couch with insects buzzing all around it. Well, if you guessed something unusual, you're right. What you're looking at is actually a yellow jacket nest. The mass on the couch is their home, and those insects flying about are the yellow jackets themselves. This spectacle was discovered in an abandoned shack deep in the woods. It's not every day you come across something like this, a nest taking over a piece of furniture, turning a simple couch into a hive of activity. Yellow jackets are known for their aggressive behavior, and finding their nest in such an unexpected place is both fascinating and terrifying. How did this nest end up here? What other surprises might be lurking in that old shack?
I've got this.
Zoom in on the shark in the distance. I wonder if we could get a quick zoom on the shark. Come in tight if you have it. Well, I think I know who this guy is, but Bruce, since you're here.
During a deep-sea research expedition, the camera captured footage of a truly unique fish. This creature had a large, almost bulbous head, and its body moved with the fluid, undulating motion reminiscent of a catfish. But this wasn't just an ordinary fish, it was a ghost cat shark. The ghost cat shark is a rare and mysterious species, often found lurking in the dark depths of the ocean where few other creatures venture. Its eerie appearance, with a head that seems almost too large for its body and a ghostly pale complexion, has intrigued marine biologists and ocean enthusiasts alike. What makes this creature even more fascinating is its elusive nature. Ghost cat sharks are rarely seen, and even less frequently captured on camera, making this footage a valuable glimpse into the life of one of the ocean's most enigmatic inhabitants. As it glides through the water, you can see why it earned its spectral name. Its movement is both graceful and haunting, like a shadow in the deep.
Okay, this looks like a cat shark in the genus Aprostoris. That's my take on it. Yeah, definitely with a shovel-like head and an anal fin. So I don't think there are any records of this genus Aprostoris from Lake Atoll, and we have no idea of what species this would be because there are a number of species in the genus, and none have been recorded from this area.
Good morning, guys. It is literally 5 a.m. and I opened the back door to put some dry food out for the stray kitties, and there are people feet printed all over my deck in the snow. Okay, I'm gonna open this. I'm not going out there. Do you see this? They start over there, and it like barefoot walks up to the table. There's nothing coming up to the... Maybe there is some coming up to the door. What? And I don't see any in the yard.
Next, we've got this clip from a woman who shared a strange and eerie encounter she's been experiencing at her home. She lives near the woods, and every once in a while, stray cats come to her doorstep, so she feeds them. One night, she woke up to the stray cats crying outside. Concerned, she went out to put some food out for them. That's when she noticed something unsettling. On her deck, where there was a thin layer of snow, there were prints, human footprints, lots of them. It looked like a group of people had come to stand there. The footprints led from the woods and then back into the woods. The footprints were human-sized, about the same size as her own feet. Not knowing what to make of it, she went back in and slept. The next day, she shared the footage online. A commenter asked her to contact the police, but she said she already did that, and they said since there was no break, there was not much they could do. A few nights later, she noticed the footprints again. They came from the woods and returned to the woods just like before. It's snowing out and very late at night. Who would be walking barefoot in the snow, and why were they always visiting her house? People online had all sorts of theories. Some suggested it might be a group of pranksters trying to spook her. Others thought it could be something more supernatural, a ghostly visitation, or even a mysterious group of people living in the woods. Whatever the case, we don't have answers, but she seems to be doing well. She even joked with one of the commenters on her page. It's our prayer that her life isn't in any danger and that she's as safe as she believes.
Do you see this? They start over there, and it like barefoot walks up to the table. There's nothing coming up to the... Maybe there is some coming up to the door.
A man by the name of Erwin Saunders claims to have captured pixies in the forest. Let's take a look at the clip he posted to support his claim.
He's been trying to hurl these across to his accomplice on the other side, and if I just move the camera across, you'll be able to see just there. He's gesturing back to him and saying, "Come on, throw another one."
In the clip, we see small humanoid creatures with green skin, bald heads, and pointy ears on the sides of their heads. Both were on rocks that were a bit apart from each other. One had these wooden contraptions on its back and had gathered some sort of fruits on it, while the other was making hand motions as if asking for some of the fruits to be thrown to it. It's very fascinating to watch and looks very real. Pixies are often depicted in folklore as playful and mischievous creatures, usually associated with nature and woodland areas. The details in Erwin's footage, from the appearance of the creatures to their behavior, looks very convincing. However, in this age of advanced technology and digital effects, it's essential to approach such extraordinary claims with a healthy dose of skepticism. On the other hand, the world is full of unexplained phenomena, and there's always the possibility that there are things out there that we have yet to discover. What are your thoughts on this?
There, he's gesturing back to him and saying, come on, throw another one.
Clip taken back in 2006, which has left many unsettled and questioning what they just witnessed. A man braving the woods at night found himself in an encounter that would be etched into his memory, and now into the internet's collective consciousness. While walking through the dense, shadowy forest, he noticed something unusual, a pale figure crouched by some bushes nearby. Its ghostly appearance stood out against the dark surroundings, drawing the man's attention. Driven by a mix of curiosity and concern, he decided to investigate, pulling out his camera to capture what he assumed might be a stray animal or perhaps someone in need of help. But as he approached, things took a terrifying turn. The figure suddenly turned towards him, revealing its hollow, glowing eyes. It was bald and gaunt, with skin stretched tightly over its skeletal frame, so thin that the shoulder blades and ribs were clearly visible. Despite its almost human form, there was something deeply unsettling and inhuman about it, a wrongness that sent a chill down the man's spine. Before he could react, the creature lunged at him with alarming speed. The man stumbled back and in a panic dropped his camera, which captured only the briefest glimpse of the creature before the footage went dark. The encounter ended as quickly as it began, with the man fleeing. When the video was later recovered and shared, it sparked widespread debate and fear. Some viewers believed the man had encountered a supernatural being, possibly a skinwalker or wendigo. Others speculated it might have been a feral human, someone who'd lost their mind and humanity after years of isolation in the wild. Skeptics, of course, questioned the authenticity of the footage, suggesting it could have been an elaborate prank. But what do you think? We all know that gravity keeps us grounded on Earth, which is why if you ever saw a flying person, you'd be left with more questions than answers. But what in the world is this?
Мы, значит, такие гуляем, а тут ебать на проводе стул висит, блядь.
In this bizarre footage, we see something even stranger, a wooden chair floating in the sky. Yeah, you heard that right. This chair is not just floating, it's also rotating slowly beside an electric line. Now those power lines are pretty high up, so how on earth did the chair get up there? What makes this even more puzzling is that there are no visible ropes or wires holding it up. The person who captured this footage filmed it from the ground, pointing the camera upwards so it's clear that the chair is genuinely suspended in midair. And it's not part of some elaborate show or stunt. There's no one around, no crowd, nothing to suggest this is staged. It seems like the person filming was the only one who noticed this strange phenomenon. So what's really going on here? Could this be some sort of glitch in the Matrix? We'd love to hear your theories. Share your thoughts in the comments. During a lightning storm, someone captured something incredible in the sky, a shadowy figure that looks like a giant. Take a look.
Oh, holy fucking shit, guys.
The figure, cloaked in a robe and holding a stick, appeared and disappeared as quickly as the lightning struck. It looks like a scene straight out of a myth or fairy tale came to life for just a moment. We all know the story of Jack and the Beanstalk with its giant living in the clouds. Could it be that giants do exist, but in a form we don't yet understand? Perhaps they live in another dimension or realm only visible to us under specific conditions like this lightning strike. That would be cool, and I'm getting excited just thinking about it. But then again, we live in a world of AI, deepfakes, and clever editing. Could this be someone making fun of the paranormal community? Let us know what you think.
Oh, holy fucking shit, guys.
We start this clip with one unusual Facebook Live video.
That's my backyard. I'm screwed in a little piece. This is the exact spot that I just...
This young lad was home when he realized strange and unusual things were happening. It felt like there was someone home with him, but that shouldn't have been the case because he was home alone. He called out a number of times asking if anyone was there, but there was no response. Freaked out, he went live on his social media page and started telling everyone what was happening. It was at this moment that whatever it was that was moving around his property decided to sneak across his yard. Unfortunately for the being, and fortunately for him, his camera was facing in the direction the being moved, and he was able to capture a few seconds of footage. That's what you see on your screen. The big question now is, what is that? The simple answer, no one knows. He suspects it's some unknown cryptid, and judging by its size and movement, I'm tempted to agree with the hypothesis. It seems like whatever it is, it didn't want to be seen and didn't want any trouble. Once his friends saw what he saw, they rushed to his home to see if they could find it, but they couldn't. They chose to upload this to find answers, and the paranormal community was divided about it. Some saw a demon, others a cryptid, and a small sect, an otherworldly creature. The strangest answer was from this user. He believed it was an ostrich. There were also some who thought the whole thing had to be fake or CGI. Given the quality of the clip, it's hard to tell without a professional's input, and our video editor is away with Julius on a mission we can't tell you about yet. So I'm gonna fall back on you for this one. What do you guys think is happening here? Do you think this is real or not? Let us know in the comments section.
That's the exact motherfucking spot now. That's my backyard. I'm zooming in a little piece. This is the exact spot that I just...
Definitely looks blue.
It's because of what in the world, though? Like, that's like vibrant blue. I'm tripping.
When we think of shadows, we usually imagine them as dark, almost black reflections of objects blocking the light. So imagine the confusion and surprise when a woman stumbled upon something completely out of the ordinary. Blue shadows. Yeah, blue shadows. It all happened while she was in the woods. Perhaps she was out for a walk, enjoying the tranquility of nature, when she came across a cluster of twigs lying on the ground. At first glance, nothing seemed unusual about them. The twigs were just that, ordinary, brown and brittle, scattered across the ground. But then something caught her eye that made her do a double take. The shadows cast by these twigs weren't the typical dark hues we're accustomed to. Instead, they were a vibrant, unmistakable blue. Now, it's not that twigs themselves were blue. No, they were the usual color. There was nothing around that could explain this bizarre phenomenon. No blue light source, no reflective surface, nothing. Just these twigs and their strikingly blue shadow stood out against the ground. How could this be possible? What could cause a shadow to take on such an unexpected hue? I was getting ready to share this paranormal theory when Julia stepped in. It turned out this was taken during blue hour. For those unfamiliar with it, like I was, it refers to a period of twilight in the morning or evening when the sun is just below the horizon, creating a soft, diffuse light that gives everything a bluish tint. During this time, the sky takes on a deep blue hue, and because the sun isn't directly visible, the light is scattered more in the atmosphere, emphasizing shorter wavelengths like blue. Shadows during the blue hour appear blue because they're primarily lit by the ambient sky rather than direct sunlight. So yeah, nothing paranormal here, just a natural phenomenon.
Definitely looks blue.
It's What in the world, though? Like, that's like vibrant blue. I'm tripping.
Believe me when I say there are a lot of strange things out there that we don't fully understand, and some inventions can be downright disturbing. Recently, my team and I came across something that fits that description perfectly: the EATR robot. EATR, which stands for Energetically Autonomous Tactical Robot, is designed with a unique and unsettling ability. It can refuel itself using biological waste. This means that, in theory, the robot could use anything organic for fuel, including human corpses. The idea behind EATR was to create a machine that could operate independently in hostile environments without needing a constant supply of traditional fuel. But the implications of a robot that can consume organic material for energy? While the creators have assured the public that the robot is designed to focus on plant-based material, the very concept of a machine that could theoretically consume any biological matter, including humans, is enough to send shivers down anyone's spine. What do you think about this invention? Does it seem like a groundbreaking step in technology, or does it cross a line that should not be crossed? No, that spider isn't moonwalking, but it is walking on water. It looks like something out of a fairy tale, except it's not. This here is a type of tarantula that has tiny hairs on its leg that allow it to avoid breaking surface tension. In simpler terms, this quality allows it to walk on water without sinking. The sight is mesmerizing and a bit eerie. After all, there's a tarantula defying the laws of nature. The tiny hairs, known as setae, are what enable this remarkable feat. The combination of the spider's black body with the striking white spots on its legs makes it look almost otherworldly as it moves effortlessly across the water's surface. But rest assured, nothing alien or paranormal happening here. It's just science. If any of you come across any of these spiders, share your experience. Now take a look at another wonder that was captured by a group of hikers. They stumbled upon this massive rock structure, but guess what? They discovered that this rock wasn't just a solid mass. It had compartments with doors that could be opened, leading into a tunnel. Being the logical beings they are, they didn't dare venture inside. Around the world, there are numerous secret facilities, many constructed during wartime for people to hide out. Interestingly, in some of these facilities, strange and suspicious things have been found that don't quite fit the narrative of being mere wartime hideouts for soldiers. Considering this stone structure in the middle of nowhere, what could have been done there? Was it an ancient facility of some sort, or perhaps the lair of an intelligent being? Some think that it's how Bigfoot hides from us. Sounds ludicrous, I know, but we still need an explanation, so share your thoughts. Dares can be thrilling and fun, but they can also come with unexpected risks. Have you ever heard the story of Sam Ballard? Sam was a young, adventurous boy who was dared by his friends to swallow a slug. It seemed like a harmless prank at the time, and Sam, being a good sport, went along with it. But what happened next was far from a joke. The slug he swallowed was carrying a parasitic worm called Angiostrangulus cantonensis, which can cause a rare but serious infection known as rat lungworm disease. Unfortunately, Sam contracted this infection, which led to severe complications. He fell into a coma, and when he eventually woke up, he was left paralyzed and in need of constant care. So the next time you dare to do something, remember Sam Ballard's story and consider whether it's really worth the risk. This next footage is hands down one of the strangest orb sightings I've come across, if it is indeed real. In the video, you can see a chopper flying steadily in the sky, seemingly on a routine flight. Then out of nowhere, an orb appears, gliding smoothly from the right side of the frame. What happens next is unbelievable. The orb moves closer to the helicopter, and in a matter of seconds it engulfs the entire craft. The helicopter vanishes without a trace, as if it was swallowed whole by this mysterious orb. And just like that, the orb continues to float away, carrying the helicopter within it, as though nothing has happened. This footage leaves you questioning what exactly we're dealing with here. Could this be some advanced technology, extraterrestrial in origin, or perhaps a sophisticated illusion? Or is there another explanation entirely? Yeah, that's a road flooded with water and ice. Just look at that. I hope the person who took the footage is fine because the water is at the same level as the front mirror, and the car is submerged in it. Nature is scary. The sheer power and unpredictability of natural forces can be overwhelming. Floods like this remind us of how vulnerable we are to the elements. One moment everything is calm, and the next you're facing a torrent of icy water that could sweep away cars and pose serious dangers to anyone caught in its path. It's astonishing how quickly conditions can change, transforming a familiar road into a hazardous river. The combination of water and ice makes it even more treacherous, with the risk of hypothermia and the challenge of navigating through ice chunks. On second thought, is that even ice at all? And how hasn't the engine given up already? Share your thoughts. If you have got trypophobia, skip this one. You have been warned. What we have here is the fascinating and somewhat eerie sight of a mother Suriname toad. These creatures are truly unique in the animal kingdom, and what you're seeing is a remarkable example of their distinctive reproductive process. The holes on her back from which the baby toads are emerging are part of an extraordinary adaptation. Instead of laying eggs in water like most amphibians, the Suriname toad has developed a method that keeps her offspring safe and close. Here's how it works. The female Suriname toad lays her eggs, and then the male fertilizes them. But instead of leaving the eggs in the water, the male pushes them into the skin on her back, where they become embedded in individual pockets. Over time, the skin grows over these pockets, creating a honeycomb-like structure. Inside these pockets, the eggs hatch and the tadpoles develop, staying safe and nourished by their mother's body until they're ready to emerge as fully formed little toads. This process is not only unique, but also a bit unsettling to watch. Seeing tiny toads pop out from the holes in her back can be surprising and might make your skin crawl a little. Yet it's a brilliant evolutionary strategy, ensuring that the young have a higher chance of survival by keeping them protected during their most vulnerable stages. Creepy, but fascinating. I know it's been a couple of days, but here's a bonus footage for you. For those new to our channel, it's a chance to show us how sharp you are. What do you think you're looking at? Instead of hearing it from me, I want to hear your thoughts on this. Both conspiracies and scientific theories are allowed. Let's make this fun. This video was captured on a trail camera set up by a hunter who was hoping to record the local wildlife in the area. But what he ended up capturing left him utterly shocked. Take a look. In the footage, you can see a massive, dark figure standing about 7 feet tall in the middle of the woods. This creature isn't just passing by, it's clearly agitated. It begins throwing logs and pushing branches around with force as if it's angry or upset about something. The creature continues its tantrum for a while before finally retreating back into the depths of the forest. Now, we all know this isn't a bear or an ape. The size, the behavior, it all points to one being, the legendary Bigfoot. But what could have made it so angry? What could have triggered this outburst? It's rare to catch a glimpse of Bigfoot, let alone see it in such a state. This footage raises more questions than answers. Could something have disturbed its territory, or was it reacting to the presence of the trail camera itself? Next, we've got a man who was exploring a cave mine thinking he was alone, but then he noticed something unusual from one of the mine portals. There, emerging from the shadows, was a humanoid dark figure with a glowing head. Naturally, the internet had a field day with this one. Some commenters quickly dismissed it, saying it was just a person with a headlamp. That's the rational explanation, and it makes sense. I mean, it does look like an explorer with a high-powered headlamp that may just be giving off an otherworldly glow in the darkness. But others were not so sure. They felt there was more at play. What if it's not just a headlamp? What if it's something supernatural? Mines and caves have long been the settings for ghost stories and legends. The combination of isolation and the unknown depths make them perfect breeding grounds for tales of the unexplained, and this could be one of them. This bizarre-looking set of remains was found deep in the forest. The carcass is massive and you can clearly see the ribs. However, when you get to the head, there's something truly alarming. The head looks strikingly similar to one of the raptors from Jurassic World. This doesn't even look like it was made. It's covered in dust and embedded in the forest's floor, indicating that this thing has been here for quite a while. Could these be the remains of a dinosaur? Perhaps one that somehow survived until more recent times, long after dinosaurs were believed to have gone extinct. Just imagine a dinosaur or something very much like it existing in our time. How did it survive? What did it eat? Where did it live? These are questions that scientists would be eager to explore. Experts in paleontology and zoology would need to examine the remains closely, analyzing the bone structure and possibly extracting DNA to determine what kind of creature this was. For now, we can only speculate, but one thing is certain: this discovery is extraordinary and needs a thorough investigation. What you are looking at is said to be the power source of UFOs, a nuclear battery known as the Paul Bronze radioactive battery. This mysterious device has sparked numerous theories, with some claiming it's the key to understanding how extraterrestrial crafts operate. The battery is believed to harness a form of radioactive energy far more advanced than anything currently known to humanity. It's said to have the ability to generate immense power, possibly enough to fuel the complex and otherworldly technologies attributed to UFOs. The Paul Bronze radioactive battery has become a focal point in discussions about extraterrestrial technology and the potential for human discovery. Could this be a glimpse into the advanced energy systems of alien civilizations, or is it simply a misunderstood piece of technology from our world, shrouded in secrecy and speculation? This footage is absolutely mind-boggling. Captured by a security camera outside a station in India, it shows something you'd only expect to see in a movie. At first glance, everything seems normal. People minding their own business, motorcyclists parked, and the usual hustle and bustle of a busy junction. But then out of nowhere, a motorcycle glides into view. What makes this so bizarre is that there's no rider on the bike. It just rolls on its own, navigating as if it had a mind of its own. The way it maneuvers, taking a smooth, calculated curve into the station without bumping into anything, is beyond eerie. The witnesses who saw it were understandably shocked. This isn't something you see every day, if ever. It's almost like the motorcycle was being controlled by some invisible force. But what could it be? A driver on the highway got the shock of a lifetime when this came driving by. It was a truck with a giant, mysterious object strapped to its trailer. Honestly, I don't even know how to describe this thing. It's enormous, and it's hard to tell if it's metallic or something else entirely. The shape is bizarre, almost otherworldly. Naturally, the internet has been buzzing with speculation. One commenter suggested it might be a sculpture being transported to an art exhibit or a museum. But with all the weirdness out there these days, it's hard not to be skeptical. Could it be some kind of top-secret government equipment, a prototype for a new type of vehicle or machinery? Maybe it's part of a movie set or something. The possibilities are endless, and that's what makes it so intriguing. There are some, however, who believe the whole thing is a hoax and a fake. What say you? Would you look at that? A table of pandas having a party. Very hilarious. Look at what the zookeepers have prepared for these fuzzy guys. 4 large pandas are sitting on wooden chairs around a table of food, munching away. Such an adorable sight to see. These pandas, with their big round faces and playful behavior, always manage to bring a smile to our faces. The zookeepers have set up a delightful spread of bamboo and other treats, making it look like a proper panda feast. It's heartwarming to see the pandas enjoying their meal, almost like a group of friends. In an almost similar incident, a man was walking through the woods when he stumbled upon an old, abandoned well. Naturally curious, he decided to peer inside, perhaps expecting nothing more than darkness or maybe some forgotten debris. But what he found was far more unsettling. As he leaned over to look inside, his camera captured something chilling, a pair of glowing eyes staring back at him from the depths of the well. These eyes, almost unnaturally bright, seemed to follow his every movement, as if the creature they belonged to was just as curious about him as he was about it. Startled, the man quickly retreated and ran back from the scene. Now, unlike other encounters where Bigfoot might be the suspect, this creature didn't seem to fit that description. Julius speculates that it could be an animal trapped down there, its eyes reflecting the daylight, but the man who witnessed it isn't so sure. The eyes seem too large, too eerie for an ordinary animal. Could it be an animal or something far more enigmatic? The idea that we're living in a matrix isn't new, but it's certainly a theory that sparks debate. Not everyone is convinced, but every now and then we come across something that makes us question reality. Aaron, a firm believer in the Matrix theory, shared a video that he thinks is a perfect example of a glitch in the Matrix. In this footage, you see a hand tapping on a mirror hanging on the wall, but here's where things get strange. In the reflection, there's a butterfly calmly resting in front of the mirror. The odd part? In real life, there's no butterfly to be seen, only its reflection exists. This airy phenomenon leaves us wondering, how can something appear in a reflection without being present in reality? For those who believe in the Matrix theory, this video is compelling evidence that we might be living in a simulated reality where not everything behaves as it should. But what do you think? Is this just a visual anomaly, or could there be something more to it? Moving on, what do we have here? An 8-foot-long centipede-like creature? How is this even possible? The paranormal community has been buzzing with this video, and people are divided on what it really is. Some are calling it a cryptid, while others are convinced it's edited footage, one made from clever CGI or special effects. Looking at it, I'm tempted to join the AI gang on this. Before Julius went on his trip, he saw this clip and told me there were no creatures like this. I did my research and found nothing too. Our in-house video editor also stated that this was more 3D than it was realistic. Looking at it again, I get where they're coming from, and I believe this is definitely not real. Despite this assertion, there are some who are unable to tell if it's real or not. Some have even advocated that it be killed. The only reason they will do that is if they believed it was real. This has left me wondering, am I thinking it isn't real because the two skeptics on my team convinced me that it was not, or is that really the case? Share your opinion. Do you think it's real? Or do you side with us in believing this is nothing but CGI? Speaking of thoughts, what are yours on divine intervention? Because the story I'm about to tell you might just blow your mind. The title of the world's luckiest man goes to Frane Selleck. For those unfamiliar with the name, Frane Selleck is a music teacher from Croatia whose life has been characterized by unbelievable escapes and near-death experiences that seem almost too incredible to be real. His story is a roller coaster of extraordinary events that have left many wondering if divine intervention played a role in his remarkable survival. In 1962, Frane was on a train that derailed and plunged into an icy river. 17 passengers drowned, but Frane managed to swim to safety with only a broken arm and hypothermia. The following year, during his first and only plane flight, the doors suddenly blew off and he was sucked out of the aircraft. Incredibly, he landed in a haystack and survived with minor injuries while the plane crashed, killing 19 people on board. But it didn't stop there. Over the years, Frane's life was dotted with more miraculous escapes. A bus crashed into a river, a car fire that engulfed his vehicle in flames, being hit by a city bus, and another car crash that saw his vehicle explode after he just managed to escape. In 1995, while driving on a mountain road, his car collided with a truck, causing his car to burst into flames. Miraculously, he managed to escape without any serious injuries. 2 years later, he narrowly avoided another fatal accident when he was struck by a bus in Zagreb, walking away with minor injuries once again. The most astounding part of Frane's story came in 2003 when he won the lottery, pocketing nearly $1 million. After all those years of close calls with death, it seemed the universe finally decided to reward him. What do you think? Does Frane's story make you believe in the possibility of divine intervention, or do you think it's all just a series of incredible coincidences? Next, we've got a clip that the uploader insists is a glitch in the Matrix. Take a look. According to him, he was going about his day when he noticed this strange bird-like creature suddenly start to drop from the sky. He was already filming at this point and managed to capture just the moment the bird-like creature all of a sudden started to fall. He insists it's not natural, and when you look at the clip, there's something off about it. I did some digging around, starting from the original post, and almost everyone who saw it was convinced it was a weather balloon. You see it too. What do you think? This footage has got to be one of the most convincing pieces of glitch in the Matrix evidence circulating on the internet. It was captured by a man who was sitting in his parked car in a parking lot when he noticed something incredibly odd happening just a few cars away. Take a look. A woman seated in the front passenger seat of a car gets out, walks around to the driver's side, sits down, and then, almost like she's following a script, she gets out again, walks around the back of the car, and re-enters the passenger seat. Now here's where things get really strange. According to the man who took the footage, he'd already watched her repeat this bizarre sequence 3 times before he started filming. It's as if she's caught in some sort of a loop, endlessly repeating the same actions without any apparent reason. This isn't just a simple case of someone forgetting something and retracing their steps. She's literally moving in a perfect circle over and over again, as if she's stuck in a loop. It's almost like watching a character in a video game that's being glitched, endlessly following the same path, no way out. What could possibly explain this? Was she in some kind of trance, completely unaware of what she was doing, or could this be a genuine glitch in the fabric of reality? Now, we all remember how the COVID-19 pandemic started a few years ago, leaving the entire world in a state of panic and uncertainty. Just when we thought we were moving past the worst of global health crisis, a new and terrifying threat emerged from Japan. Reports have surfaced of a flesh-eating disease that has already affected 977 individuals. The news has sent shockwaves through the medical community and beyond as people brace themselves for the potential spread of this horrifying ailment. Health officials in Japan are working around the clock to understand the disease, how it spreads, and most importantly, how to treat and contain it. The rest of the world watches with bated breath, hoping that this outbreak can be controlled before it becomes a global crisis. The memories of lockdowns, social distancing, and constant vigilance are still fresh in everyone's mind. The idea of facing another global health threat, especially one as gruesome as a flesh-eating disease, is almost too much to bear. Some have called the whole thing fake. Others think it was grown in the lab as a weapon, whereas others believe this is nothing but fear-mongering. Now, peer-reviewed journals are yet to be released on the case, but if it's true, let's pray they get everything under control. The last thing the world needs is COVID 2.0 that's capable of eating your flesh. Mystical creatures are mystical for a reason. There's no way they can be real until people start showing these types of footage, and then everyone becomes confused. Take a look at this footage of what looks like a centaur. A woman is lying on the ground with the lower part of a horse, and there are 2 people standing over her. For those unfamiliar with the term, a centaur, a mythical creature with the upper body of a human and the lower body of a horse. They have been part of folklore and mythology for centuries. Seeing such a creature in what appears to be a modern real-world setting is mind-boggling. While I want to be excited and believe this is real, the most logical explanation is that this footage is a product of modern visual effects or elaborate costumes. What do you think? Imagine driving down the road when suddenly a geyser of sewage bursts from the ground, drenching everything in its path. Good thing it's an imagination, right? Well, for some unfortunate folks in China, this was a reality. There was a massive explosion in a sewer system that caused an eruption of sewage, shooting out like a fountain and splashing onto all the cars driving by. The force of the explosion was so intense that it even overturned an excavator in the area. Luckily, there was no casualties reported, but the scene was chaotic, to say the least. Quite literally a messy situation. The sheer power of the explosion took everyone by surprise. Fortunately, despite the destruction and chaos, no one was seriously hurt, though it's safe to say that the cleanup was far from pleasant. And with that, we end today's episode. Thanks for staying with us. Before you go, are there clips and videos you think we should have featured by now that we haven't? Well, the good news is you can share them with us and we will post them crediting you. Please send any such footage, including ones you recorded yourself, to us via classifiedcaptures@gmail.com. We'll do our thing and include it in our next episode. We can't wait to receive what you have. Share this video with someone you love, and I will see you in the next one.